No, but I always wondered, how is it so easy for people to believe what anyone else tells them, even though the truth be right in their face? Good morning. Um, I hope everybody is in good peace. And if not, I hope that you find it. Because even in our hard times, we are still blessed. Even in our times of struggle and tried, being betrayed, the Lord makes a way. But I tell you, every day, if not every day, every other day, I may shed a tear. Because I don't get it, but I do. The only reason I get it is because I know that it's not new under the sun. And why I don't get it is because I can't understand why or how someone doesn't become tired of their own crap. It's a shame the situations that I have been in. It's a shame the struggles of my own children, my family, myself, and my husband has had to face because of the hatred and the downright unnecessary ridiculousness of others. Although I have dealt with some unfavorable inquiries and even attempts from certain bodies within the city, I know that they probably wouldn't have ever even bothered me if it weren't for others in the city or even not in the city. I contemplated, should I even talk about it, because this is going on so blatantly, you know. This early, I decided to, I seen some trash that had blown into the yard, so, and I just really needed a breath of fresh air, you know. I was thanking the Lord for blessing me, giving me rest, and making me to wake up this morning. But I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm only happy because I know all this stuff has to pass away, So whether you get it or not, the only true thing that matters is my connection with the Lord Jesus Christ, my connection with the Savior. And I truly trust him because honestly, with all that has gone on, we probably would have been taken over if he was not on our side. He truly has been on our side, miraculously so. See, y'all are looking at a woman that has 4 children from a previous relationship and 2 from within the marriage that I'm in now. That one from the previous relationship took me through things, and I ended up learning and finding out about things that I didn't even know really, really happens unless it was in a movie. And I never wanted to believe that any of my family was involved. But you know what? Down the line, it wasn't hard to put two and two together to really see that people are crazy as all outdoors and got the nerve to try to be the first ones, the loudest ones, at calling you crazy, at trying to test your psyche out, tapping your house, tapping your phone, tapping their foot as they pace at every turn that the Lord does not allow them to break through. They become confused because they know they sit in the shadows trying to watch everything. So they can't really say anything. And they know at the same time they're seeing that God has got to be real. God is truly real because ain't nobody helping this woman. And we still can't touch her like we want to. We still can't move her like we want to. We couldn't poison her and leave her brain like a vegetable. We couldn't hold her in a crazy home. We couldn't hold her in the jails. We couldn't be successful in a neglectful child neglect charge against her because this woman truly, 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 if not 95% of the time, 89% of the time, is hands on with her children. Absolutely hands on. Nobody's doing their job correctly because of the targeting. Richmond Redevelopment has ignored my request for an appeal and to get things corrected as though they don't get paid to do a job or as though they got paid to do a much different job. I did all the running around before. I did all the going back and forth with people before and filling out paperwork and, but I don't do anything to prove a point. I'm just a true person out here, just living, doing things to the best of my ability. Whether that's starting and not finishing, but at least not giving up, or starting and finishing. The only reason things might bother me, because I'm telling you, if it was just me, I really wouldn't have a reason to be bothered for anything, honestly. But see, children don't understand that stuff. Children want explanations when things are just going different from what they known it to be or not as good as it should be. Twice in this year, 6 months ago and now this month, my food stamps were hacked into. And I don't think this is a random thing. because it seems to be the same cycle of people every time it happens, as though there is a list. I'm not ashamed of anything that I get, any assistance that I get, and anything I ever reached out to get assistance for was because I have children. And, the Lord blessed me to become approved. I've never looked at any approval that I have received in life, whether that be some type of governmental assistance or not, as though it was in some man's hands. I always knew that if the Lord didn't want me to have it, it wouldn't matter what a man would do. It's been hard for things to be happy in my home because of these things. My children had to watch me be dragged out of my house and beat up and injured by the Richmond City Police in broad daylight because the dad of my children, my four oldest children, went to the magistrate office and without an investigation, without a question, without a phone call to me, took his word for it. He lied and told them that I had vandalized his property and did something to him, and I hadn't even seen the man in months. This man almost, well, attempted to kill me so many times. It's crazy. That's how I truly know God is on my side. What I really want to question is when I made that report, when paramedics had to give me medical attention right there on site because blood was gushing out of my left arm after he bit a chunk of my arm out. Whatever happened with that case? I pressed charges. That man never went to jail. That man stayed out free, only to, furthermore, years later, wreak havoc in me and my children's lives. I know that if y'all would not do anything about it, as it seemed, as it has been up to this point, my God will do something about it. The Lord will not be mocked. Not those that trust Him. He's not gonna play with their heart and mind like a lot of people. I'm truly not worried. Lord knows I'm not worried. I'm just telling the truth, because I don't understand with everything that I have done, you know, as highly inconvenienced as I have been. These stirrups in my life has really, really gotten in the way a lot of times at me being effective in the completion of things that I pursued for the best for my family and children, my children and family. I would get on this track, and all of a sudden, from the left, from the right, somebody or something bogus is all outdoors. However, I don't know. It seems that this system likes to trust lies before they actually consider what the truth is, before they actually investigate truly. I did not give anybody any permission to invade my privacy. But it seems to be what people stand on these days. I already know from reading in the Word of the Lord that those days come. So now I'm here, 6 children, husband breaking himself so much. He hardly has energy when he's home. Therefore, I have to work myself so much in the home. And it still don't be enough because every allotment, everything that we were supposed to be receiving, we're not receiving it. Me and my children want justice. Me and my family want justice. And I'm not one to start a fire about it. However, I know what's right and I know what's wrong. And ain't nothing wrong with this. If anything is wrong with my mental, it has been the results of all the folly attempts and the ignoring of our reports, of our cries for help. I'm not worried. Lord knows I'm not worried at all because I know he's going to turn this whole situation around. You know, I'm just being his echo because, his word doesn't return unto him void. Me and my children want justice. And it's not petty that we reach all the way back into 2012, 2013, 2014, 2015. Because in 2014, when that man almost killed me, and I reported it, and no one did anything about it. That's how in 2020 he was allowed to go to the court and lie to them and tell them that I had did something that I wasn't even thinking about doing. And I had to get a public defender because I haven't had money to pay for lawyers. That's okay. That's okay because the Lord blessed me with that public defender. She really stood on my behalf. And so he was not able to be successful in that court session. He has truly violated my children. And I can't understand for the life of me, because no matter what I have gone through, I have never, ever had a thought to just leave my children. I play with them sometimes when they upset me, and I'm like, look, y'all want mama to walk away from you? Please. They know better than that. They don't even take me serious. They just keep going about their business, whatever they was doing. So they don't lock him up in 2013, 2014. Um, Even though I pressed charges and he dang near uh, unalives me, I come to find out he gets access to me because someone that is playing a sort of a friend the whole time is connected, part of a setup. I go to their house, to see how they're doing, and all of a sudden I'm attacked. That's okay. It's okay. It's okay. You know, am I weird for feeling sorry for everyone that had something to do with what me and my children been through? I don't feel sorry for myself or even my children. Yes, we've had to endure some turmoil, and we have to seek justice, and we're gonna get it. But knowing how the Lord works, those that inflicted all that injustice, I pray the Lord have mercy on your soul. Anyway. Mm, 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 mm. I am not just reaching out to, talk about my business because honestly, I'd rather be talking about the justice. I'd rather be talking about justice. I'd rather be talking about how all this is over, and I believe there's more for me to find out other than what I already know, which would be crazy because why? Like, all I gotta say is why? Like, for what? You know how stuff be going, start happening in your life, and you be trying to wonder, you know, how and why, or try to find out, did I wrong somebody? Did I do something? I didn't do anything. But I tell you, that man was supposed to go to jail in 2013. That man was supposed to go to jail. As a matter of fact, it was January 2014. That man was supposed to go to jail for attempted murder, breaking and entering, and assault. However, you fast forward to 2016, He's able to go into court and lie again and tell them that I'm not letting him see the children, which was a bold-faced lie. He was getting the children anytime he asked. I have proof of that. What he was really mad about was that I had really, really just stopped dealing with him. I had been mentally traumatized, so I was kind of stagnant in my dealings with him. I had become kind of, programmed because, into believing a lie because, somebody try to kill you and the justice system doesn't serve you justice, and you already been banged up and twisted up and beaten the head and all this stuff, and you're still kind of under something because you haven't woke up yet. So, what is the traumatized woman that all the outsiders who are supposed to help don't help? Dude, she's stuck. So I was stuck. I had left him alone for a while after that, from 2014 all the way up until um I had got like this little apartment and I left him alone. He started coming around and I was weak, heavy laden, and had, it was so much going on, a lot of spiritual inflictions, people playing with, crafts and things, so I'm doing things that in a rightful mind I would never ever do, Obviously somebody preyed on me, losing my mind, and God allowed them for a little while to believe that, they were just so successful. But all the while, He made it so that I reserved it, I was able to keep it. That way, once He healed me up, I would be able to refer to it. I I was staying with my mother, and I was just really trying to get some things together in life, and I was doing pretty well, honestly. Um, I had lived with a few people in that time because I got an apartment not long after um, the children's dad had tried to kill me, and it was just a one bedroom. But at that time, it was ours and it was our space, and I tried to start up with school and everything, but that was just it was really too much for me. I with the brain so shaken up from so much violence throughout my life, it was hard to really focus. I had two babies. My children were like stair ladders, one after the other, and I had four of them. So I tried to, and I didn't give up. It's just time for everything, and I needed to focus on my children and to be able to provide for them. I hardly ever got child support. When it would pop up, it was like a surprise, and at that time, I think I was getting something like, $15 to $25 a month for four children. I don't know how they do that, but and I was getting something called TANF, and that was less than $300 a month. Um, so from there, I got evicted because I couldn't really hold up the bills. Excuse me. I got evicted because I couldn't really hold up the bills as much as I tried. I had a little cooking business and everything, so I would cook up meals on certain days, and stuff like that. I found a nice little connect where I could get food in bulk size. So that's what I took advantage of. That way I would not shortchange my children in, running this business, and I would be able to provide them things that, food stamps could not buy, that was completely necessary. And so that's what I did. And so leaving out of there, at the time I had started a job at Wendy's, and it was going pretty well. It just was a lot on me because at first, I had family that was helping me so that I could go to work, and I was working just like part time because um, you know I would just work during the school hours. At that time, my two oldest, my son and my daughter, they were in school, but then I had the two toddlers who are now 13 and 11, and so I didn't like to be at work past their school hours. So I would try to be off no later than 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, so that I could meet them at the bus stop and things. And then, the Lord blessed, and I happened to make, acquaintance with a couple of my neighbors who, they were more about the lookout than my own family, for real, for real. They were more about helping me, more than my own family. So I was able to go to work a lot of days because um, it was people who truly helped me. That God had placed right there that truly would help me. Make a long story short, I get evicted from that place, and I'm trying to keep my job. I'm trying to take care of my children, and their dad shows up. The funny thing about it is, I went to the people and I told them, I said, I got a job and I'm saving up money. I said, I know I have a little bit of money on the account towards the bills. It was like one of those apartments that I could, everything included, and I paid my rent, and the water bill and electricity was included. So, and it wasn't bad, but it was plenty. And so sometimes when I would get money, I would just take it up there and be like, just put this on the account, just that way, I would have a little less to pay once I did get money. And wow. Anyway, once hold on. So I don't even I didn't even know how he found out where I lived. I hadn't talked to him. So it was really weird that he found out where I lived. He came to the place, and my oldest son at the time, you know, I had a heart for my children. So sometimes as a mother, I made really, really dumb decisions because my children. That is not to put any blame or anything on them. That is just the truth. When you're a single mother and you're struggling, and your oldest boy, who is one of the most humble, bold, strong, patient people is saying, well, I would love to see my dad. I would love to, you know, because the night that he almost killed me years before that, my children were not, they did not witness it because um, they had gone to bed, and I was walking to my, she happened to be my neighbor. I was walking to my neighbor house, who I thought was, a cool acquaintance at the time, and I needed to use her telephone because he had broken into my apartment and stole the children's social security cards out of my wallet. And I was going to her house after I put the children to bed to ask her, could I use her phone to report the situation? Because he had broken my phone. So, yeah, I know you can call 911 even if you don't have service, but he had broke my phone. So, it definitely broke my phone. So, I what's crazy is I ended up coming across a phone that I forgot I had in the house, and it was charged just enough for me to do that. Once I got back to my apartment, because from once the Lord blessed me to make it away from that man, I uh, I went home back to my apartment, checked on my children who were sleeping so soundly, and I ended up finding that phone, coming across that phone, and that's when I called them. They Anyway, I let him in so that my son and the children could see him, and they didn't seem as though they missed him too much or really cared. They just wanted to. It was more like a welfare check they wanted to do on him. And I remember that evening when I told him that it was around time that he needed to go ahead and leave. He didn't want to leave, and he started to change. I don't know how to even describe this at the time, with much wisdom that the Lord has blessed me with up to this point. Now I know what it was. This man started manifesting demonically within my home, and I didn't know what to do. I had no clue what to do. And I just told him he had to go. He had to go. He started pulling on me, biting on me, and eventually, took what he wanted. And I remember not being able to do a daggone thing, because I didn't want to make too much fuss. As my children are going to bed, and I wanted them to rest. Y'all, excuse me, I'm really over this stuff, but I ain't really talked about this with nobody, because everybody I done talked about it with, they kind of just shook it off, family and friends alike. I mean, why would they treat it any differently? I mean, this down the line, and authorities been found out. Authorities came and made a report about it and everything, and that man was still free. Fast forward 2020 to do all of this. Actually, from 2013, 2014 to 20, this was 15. Yeah, 2014, 2015. Because I got that place, I got that apartment immediately after where I was living when the incident happened. Then so I didn't know what to do. It was if something had like just really just try to take over me, and I didn't want to disturb my children. I didn't want them to wake up to that. So what he did, he had got drunk, and he eventually passed out. And I couldn't wait for the next day for him to just go. And actually, um, the next day, I got up and I got them together, and sent the oldest to the school, and you know he left without much being said. And I didn't call the police, and I didn't report it, and I didn't tell any family because they never did anything before. It's like some kind of hidden agenda to rid me, and he's the pawn. And it's as if every attempt that God has not allowed you to be successful in, you still keep trying, and you will never be successful in it, because my God said no a long time ago, and he didn't change his mind. And he's not a liar like men. He's not abusive like men. He's not an animal like men. He's not some desperate individual that has to hurt others to get what he wants and have his way. What I'm trying to understand is, how can people say that anyone loves their children when they would treat the parent of the children so terribly? My biggest reason for not reacting in the most extensive way that I could have or probably should have in these circumstances is because of him being my children's dad. But that was never respected when it came to me. And I believe that the way the father treats the mother is telltale of how the father really cares for the children. And based on that, that man don't care nothing about these children. That man has never made sure the welfare of these children was taken care of. And whoever has been letting him get away with it, shame on them. Shame on them. It has been right in their face. They cannot even act like they had not known. They can't act like they don't know. They can't act like they haven't seen. They can't act like they don't know. They been sitting right there getting all the insights, all the details, and still sit back just to see how long it'll take to break me. And when God shows you that he's the true opponent, then what? There's no contending with him. Anyway, so I go out and I take care of some business. And I go to bed that night and I'm thanking the Lord that I ain't, and I come back and there's an eviction notice on my door. And this is right before Halloween of 2014. I moved in there in March of that year. So I had to stay and wait for my key while I paid for my deposit and everything, for about a month in between, because I was out of that other place well before the middle of February. As a matter of fact, they tried to hold me in contempt of court because they had put some kind of court summons on the door of that place. And so one day, I don't know what happened, they ended up coming across me and running my name, only to see that I had not made it to court. So they try to, it's funny how they will be on you for so-called contempt of court, but a whole entire report with substantial evidence of somebody coming after you, that person is still free years down the line. I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand. Me and my children want justice. No ifs, no ands, no buts. No around the corners. No underhands. Justice. 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 So I have to they call me in for that, only to find out that they can't do nothing with me based on it because they actually put it on the door, and I had been moved out of that place a week before. Whoever they sent to put it on the door put it on the door. So that was said and done. Next thing I know, fast forward, we're going back into 2014, 15, when I get evicted out of the little apartment, and I don't have anything to really do anything with. And I'm trying to hold on to my job because now I don't have a place, I don't have a home, and I have to figure something out. Um, Lo and behold, guess who comes around? Baby daddy. And all of a sudden, his cousin, he comes get us, and we get a room. And I'm gonna tell you the truth. I was up on it. I was very, very, very up on it. I was ready for whatever. Thank the Lord. So also being ready for whatever, you have to keep your calm too. You can't be provoking situations. So I was very, very calm. I didn't want to leave a man with my children alone, because my daughter and my son made some pretty true statements about that man years before that. My daughter was probably about 3 or 4 years old, and my son, he told me, they told me some very disturbing things that this man did, and I believe it because to this day that story has not changed. I took all the necessary steps to look out for my children, to the best of my knowledge, even with reaching out to family to see if they could guide me or give me any, counsel as far as what steps to take and what to do. And they didn't, really help me too much, I guess, because the results of that was CPS determining and throwing out my children's testimony, saying that it was far-fetched. They couldn't believe the way that my children were able to describe things. However, it's been me talking to them since they've been in my womb, and I've always spoke truth to them. You know, the reason that a 3, 4, 5, or 6-year old can be so detailed in something is probably because it happened. So they ignore my children. And then they try to flip the script on me. They try to get me for neglect. They try to say I was teaching them what to say. And then they had the nerve to take me through parenting classes and talking about, I said I'm not doing it. Talking about I'm coercing the children. My God, my God, my God. All I told my children was, you tell the truth and don't you be afraid of these people. I showed up and everything. And I said, do how in the world me reaching out and telling y'all what my children said that dad did, that I don't doubt, because the man has been abusive and intrusive to me. A lot of times I didn't want to go out and work, and I didn't want to go and do things because we lived together, and I didn't want to leave my children with him, and I didn't really have any family support. Although they talked the good game, they never truly walked that good game. I don't care. No. If anything, they did the same thing the system did to me, would laugh at me, say stuff, get your baby out the streets, just really would try to come down on me and make me feel as though everything was my fault. Y'all can miss me with the bull crap, just like God has made it so. That's just, that was just the tactics and the attempt. But that's okay, because Like I said, I feel more sorry for those that are responsible for this mess than me and my family, me and my children that has had to endure it. I'm not a vindictive person, so if I reach out and I take all the necessary steps, I did as much as I could as a, broke black single mother working, you know, uh, uh, a nine to nine, trying to provide and not lose my mind at the same time. A little crazy, but not just out of it. Just really, really, really oppressed. Just really, really, really oppressed. That's what I call it. It was an oppression. It seemed like everybody would do it. My family would say, come here with us, and it's okay. Just save your money and do what you have to do. And I would get there and I would save my money and do what I had to do and be a mother. And next thing you know, they would just come out of the blue. We can't do it. You've got to go. Right in the middle of, I ain't got paid. Right in the middle of, I don't have no vehicle. Right in the middle of, oh my God, I got these children. It's 11:30 at night. Next thing you know, I'm trying to find a hotel room with 4 children. 11:30 at night. And if they didn't immediately put me out, not long after I got there, they would torment me and my children the whole time. It was some good times in and out, but I guess that's part of the, traumatizing um, program, where they want the celebration times and all of that stuff just so they can turn around and crush your spirit, make you real glad and then make you in a worse way sad or attempt to anyway. A lot of times I ended up getting traded on and put out after that fact is because they would see that although yeah it was pressing me a little bit, they would see that it wasn't making me give up. It wasn't causing me to give up. It wasn't causing me to give in. You know, you know, I would shock them with my mouth or something I do, before I give up and I stop, and I couldn't care what type of brackets anybody tried to put me in or label me as because, you know, I figured I was the only one wearing my shoes. Only one wearing my shoes. I've just always been a very forgiving person. Always been the type of person that, um, if you can realize how that you were wrong and you'll never do it again, but certain things, sometimes you got to make sure a person that went through a process before you can really trust that they even might come away from it or never do it again. But when somebody is spoiled and always getting covered for some of the worst things that they do, what do you do? What can you do? Until you find out what can you do. So the Lord has really been looking out for me and my children. The Lord has really been preserving us. And I know it has not been for nothing. And I know that it has not been for more of the injustice. In fact, the opposite, for it to end and end in such and with such a blast that the justice is just going to blow all the turmoil and all the ridiculousness out the water. Like, it's going to play its part in me and my children being able to just let it, just forget it. You know, we're going to be helping too many other people, and, you know, that part. So, because I believe, the Lord has allowed me to go through things and my children to go through things so we can be of help, because I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one. I'm not the only person that has been targeted. I'm not the only person that has been going through this, and I see that a lot of women has broken. A lot of women has been broken. But let me tell you something, baby. If you're seeing this, trust and believe that being broken, if you still waking up every morning, that means that you still have a chance, and God is still preserving you in order to keep you for better days to come. You just got to hold on to that. You understand? Because I know the difference between being broken and being broken. There's a broken that you just don't come back from. So if you're waking up every day, but you're still feeling a little broke, keep it pushing. Don't beat yourself up. You've been beat up enough. You know what I'm saying? And don't play into the attempts to insult you from nobody. I don't care who it is. Because what people try to inflict on you, they can guarantee 100%, a million percent, that they're going to see that exact infliction multiply. You understand? That's why I say I feel more sorry for anybody that is responsible for this type of stuff, because goodness gracious, you they think they put us through something. All right, hold on. We're living in a time where people are calling what's good evil and what's evil good. So when you do things like this is so unorthodox. You know, it's either you're doing it and you're out of line and everything isn't for the internet, or you're doing it for clout and you mean to cause drama. Baby, I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. Those type of people and opinions, I have no mind to pay. So moving right along. Um, yes. So we end up staying in hotel rooms and everything, right? And we go and stay in this one place, which is really, really weird. He ends up uh, leaving, and I know what that was for. He's a terrible alcoholic, so he would go and just get stupid drunk, and he comes back, and it's still kind of early, and I want to feed my children. And there was like this Burger King across the street, so I had a little money, and I said I'm gonna go across the street and get some Burger King for them. It's funny you even come back with something to eat for them, and I didn't understand. I never understood why people who got rooms for me or helped me had to stay in a room with me. Like, that's weird. Like, my mom got a room for me and my children one time, and she had somewhere to stay, but I don't know. It's like, dang, are you there and all? Like, is everything gotta be anyway? So, my lord, I anyone relating to this, if nobody, I'm pretty sure nobody said it to you, but I want to say it to you. I am sorry. Okay, I'm sorry that you have endured it, that you went through it, that you had to deal with it, that your family won't there, that the system won't there, that anyone around you to smile in your face, they was only showing off wolf teeth. I'm sorry, but don't you sit down and give up. Okay? Tell the truth and shame the devil. man or woman, because this is not just women to go through this. There's a lot of fathers out here dealing with a whole bunch of crazy people that crazy women. It's full of Jezebel and it. Oh my God, like dealing with crazy family, targeting them for what? For what? So like, and then when they figure that their faces has gotten too familiar to you, uh, they start to pull people in that seem foreign. You know, thinking you gonna go with the move. Baby, I done been through so much in my life. If that move ain't to handle business, I'm not making it. Okay? I don't need to make it. And I ain't missing out on nothing. Nothing. So yeah, I'll continue this later.